At my son's wedding, his fiancée introduced me to her boss as just a jobless old man. Her boss looked at me, smiled, and said to the bride, "You're fired." But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we continue, we ask you to hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We would like to get to know our audience better. I stood in the marble-tiled lobby of the Riverview Grand Hotel, watching crystal chandeliers throw light across polished floors, and all I could think was how much I hated wearing a tie. Marina adjusted my collar without asking, her fingers quick and familiar. "Stop fidgeting," she said quietly. "I'm not fidgeting." "You are, and they're watching." She was right. Across the lobby, near the entrance to the ballroom, my son Oliver stood with his fiancée Haley, both of them tracking us with the kind of attention you give to something embarrassing. Oliver wore a tailored charcoal suit that probably cost more than my truck payment. Haley's dress was white lace and pearls, her smile bright and hollow as a department store mannequin. We walked toward the ballroom entrance. The space was enormous, decorated with white roses and gold ribbon, tables arranged in perfect geometric rows. Everything screamed money and taste and careful planning. "Beautiful venue," Marina said, her voice carefully neutral. "It should be," I replied. "I helped design the safety systems for this whole building 12 years ago." She squeezed my hand. "They don't know that. They don't know a lot of things." We found our table near the back. Not at the front with family, not even in the middle with close friends. The back, where the catering staff kept bumping our chairs on their way to the kitchen. Oliver crossed the room with Haley trailing behind him. His expression was the one he used in business meetings when he wanted to seem authoritative, but was actually terrified. "Dad," he said, not quite meeting my eyes. "Mom." "Oliver." I stood up. "Congratulations." "Thanks." He glanced at Haley. "Listen, we need to ask you something. Some important people are here today. Business contacts, Haley's boss, some executives from my firm. We'd appreciate it if you could just keep a low profile." Marina's hand found my wrist under the table, her grip firm. "Low profile," I repeated. "You know what I mean. Just don't mention the employment situation. It's embarrassing." Haley leaned in, her perfume too strong. "We want today to be perfect, Leo. No drama." I looked at my son. Really looked at him. 31 years old, desperate for approval from people who'd forget his name by Monday. "I'll behave," I said. The ceremony started 20 minutes later. I watched Oliver stand at the altar, watched Haley glide down the aisle. I listened to vows about love and partnership and forever, and I thought about how none of these people knew anything real about commitment. The reception started with champagne and appetizers. I was reaching for my second glass when Haley appeared beside me, her smile bright and predatory. "Leo!" She hooked her arm through mine before I could step back. "Come meet my boss. I've told him so much about you." "Haley, don't be silly." She was already pulling me across the ballroom. "Garrett's wonderful. You'll love him." We approached a tall man in an expensive suit, his gray hair perfectly styled. He was laughing at something someone had said, a champagne flute in one hand. When Haley called his name, he turned. Our eyes met. Recognition hit me like cold water. Garrett Miles. 20 years older than the last time I'd seen him, but the same sharp eyes, the same confident posture. We'd worked together back when I was still active in the event center network, back before I'd sold my operational role but kept my shares quiet. His expression flickered. Surprise, then understanding, then something calculating. Haley didn't notice. She was too busy performing. "Garrett, this is Leonard Trasker, Oliver's father." She said it with exaggerated sweetness, her voice carrying across the nearby tables. He's just a jobless old man, really. You can probably ignore him. I just wanted you to meet the family, you know?" The conversations around us stopped. People turned. I felt their eyes, their judgment, their pity or scorn or amusement. Garrett looked at Haley for a long moment. Then he looked at me. Something passed between us. Some shared memory of late-night planning sessions and blueprint reviews and the kind of friendship that doesn't fade just because circumstances change. He smiled. Not a friendly smile. "Miss Brooks," he said quietly. "Yes?" Haley's voice was still bright, still confident. "You're fired." The words hung in the air like smoke. Haley blinked. "What?" "You're fired. Effective immediately. Security will collect your access badge and personal items from your office on Monday. HR will contact you about final payment." The color drained from her face. "You can't. This is my wedding." Your chronic lateness, your complete disregard for deadlines, your pattern of workplace gossip and sabotage. I've tolerated it far too long. Consider this your formal termination." But, Haley's voice rose to a shriek. "You can't do this." People were definitely staring now. Phones came out. Someone started recording. "I just did." Garrett's voice remained calm. "Enjoy your wedding, Miss Brooks." Haley's face contorted. Tears started streaming down her cheeks, taking mascara with them. She whirled on me, her finger jabbing toward my chest. "You!" she screamed. "You did this! You ruined everything!" I didn't say a word, I said quietly. "Liar! You poisoned him against me! You ruined my life!" Oliver appeared, pushing through the crowd. "What's going on?" "Your father!" Haley was sobbing now, her carefully applied makeup running in black streaks. "He got me fired. On our wedding day." Oliver's face went rigid. He looked at me with something I'd never seen before. Pure hatred. "Is this true?" "I didn't do anything," I said. "Mr. Miles made his own decision. Don't lie to me." Oliver stepped closer, his voice shaking. "You've always been jealous of me. Always tried to hold me back." Marina appeared at my elbow. "Oliver, stop. Stay out of this, Mom." He turned back to me. "You couldn't stand seeing me happy. You had to ruin it." Haley grabbed a champagne flute from a nearby table and threw it. It shattered against the floor near my feet, sending glass and liquid spraying. Several people gasped. "I hate you!" she screamed at me. She turned and ran toward the exit, still sobbing. On her way out, her shoulder caught the edge of a champagne tower someone had carefully constructed. The tower swayed, then toppled, glasses cascading down in a spectacular crash that seemed to go on forever. The ballroom went completely silent except for Haley's fading sobs and the crunch of glass under her shoes. Oliver stared at the wreckage. Then he looked at me. "Get out," he said quietly. "Oliver, get out," Marina took my arm. "We're leaving." We walked toward the exit through absolute silence. When we reached the hallway, Oliver caught up, grabbing my shoulder and spinning me around. "You destroyed my wedding," he hissed. "You're gone to me. You understand? You don't exist anymore." He shoved me, hard. I stumbled back against the wall. Marina stepped between us. "Oliver, stop this." "Move, Mom." "No." Oliver tried to push past her. Some instinct kicked in. Decades of safety training and manual labor and knowing exactly how bodies move in space. I caught his wrist, pivoted, and suddenly Oliver was the one against the wall, his arm controlled but not hurt. "Don't touch your mother," I said quietly. "Let go of me." I released him and stepped back. A security camera blinked red in the corner of the hallway, recording everything. "We're leaving," Marina said. We walked to the parking lot in silence. Marina unlocked our car, and we sat inside, neither of us moving to start the engine. "Well," she said finally, "that was interesting." I started laughing. I couldn't help it. The absurdity of it all, the spectacular implosion, Haley's meltdown and Oliver's rage and Garrett's perfect timing. Marina smiled. "You're losing it. Maybe." She reached over and took my hand. "They pushed too far, Leonard." "Yeah. Maybe it's time they met the man you actually are." I looked at her. Marina's eyes were sharp and calculating, the expression she got when she was planning something complex. "What are you thinking?" I asked. "I'm thinking we've been quiet for too long. I'm thinking Oliver and Haley don't know who they're dealing with." She squeezed my hand. "I'm thinking it's time you reminded them." We drove home through evening traffic. The house was dark when we arrived, exactly as we'd left it. I went to the bedroom and opened the closet, pushing past hanging clothes to the safe built into the back wall. I hadn't opened it in years. The combination still worked. Inside were folders, documents, legal papers I'd filed away and tried to forget, corporate ownership records, voting rights, contracts signed decades ago when I'd helped found the event center network that now operated in 43 cities. I'd sold my operational role. I'd stepped back from daily management, but I'd kept the shares, quietly, controlling interest, hidden behind holding companies and legal structures that most people wouldn't think to investigate. Oliver thought I was unemployed. He had no idea what I actually owned. I pulled out a folder marked Property Holdings and flipped through pages. Real estate, commercial buildings, the warehouse Oliver claimed he'd purchased last year through his company, except he hadn't purchased it. I owned it. The sale had been a lease-to-own arrangement that Oliver apparently didn't understand. Another document caught my eye. A deed transfer request, filed 6 months ago. Oliver's signature, my signature, except I'd never signed it. I carried the folder to the kitchen where Marina was making tea. "Look at this," I said. She studied the document, her expression darkening. "They forged your signature." "Looks like it." "Oliver and Haley tried to steal your property." "Looks like it." Marina set down her teacup. "What are you going to do?" I thought about Oliver shoving me against the wall, Haley screaming accusations. 20 years of quiet humiliation, being treated like a burden, being dismissed and ignored and patronized. "I'm going to show them," I said quietly. "Exactly who they've been underestimating." Marina smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. "Good," she said. "Let's plan." Sunday morning arrived cold and clear. I woke up early, Marina still asleep beside me, and lay there staring at the ceiling. My phone had 17 missed calls from Oliver. I deleted them without listening. Marina stirred around 8. "Coffee?" "Already made it." She found me at the kitchen table, documents spread out like a battle map, property records, corporate filings, old emails with Garrett Miles from 15 years ago. I'd been rebuilding the connections, tracing the threads of ownership and influence I'd deliberately obscured. "You look like a general planning a campaign," Marina said. "Close enough?" She sat down across from me, cupping her coffee mug. "Talk to me. What's the actual plan?" I showed her the forged deed first. "This is leverage. Oliver and Haley tried to steal property worth about $400,000. That's criminal fraud. Will you press charges?" "Not yet, but I want them to know I could." Marina nodded slowly. "What else?" "Haley's firing opens opportunities. Garrett clearly wants her gone. I'm betting he has more information about her behavior, things that could be useful. Social destruction. Part of it, but I'm also thinking about Oliver's firm. He brags about his position, but I've checked. He's middle management, replaceable. If his personal life becomes chaotic enough, if his judgment seems compromised, his career becomes vulnerable." "Exactly." Marina studied the documents. "This is multi-layered. You're not just retaliating, you're dismantling them systematically. They tried to forge my signature to steal my property. They humiliated me in public. Oliver put his hands on me. I looked at her. I'm not looking for fairness. I'm looking for victory." She smiled, that dangerous smile again. "What do you need from me?" "Social intelligence. You understand people better than I do. You see patterns I miss. I need you to handle the soft side while I handle the hard facts." "I can do that." We spent the morning strategizing. Marina would reach out to certain people in our community, asking careful questions, planting specific seeds of doubt about Oliver and Haley's stability. Nothing obvious, just gentle suggestions that things weren't quite right. Meanwhile, I'd handle the legal and financial angles, documentation, evidence, building an unassailable case. Around noon, my phone rang. Garrett Miles. "I was wondering when you'd call," I said. "Leonard." His voice was warm, familiar. "Quite a wedding yesterday." "That's one way to put it." "I meant what I said. Haley's been a problem for years. Chronic issues. Yesterday just gave me the opportunity I needed. Convenient timing. For both of us, I suspect." Garrett paused. "You free for lunch tomorrow? I think we should talk." "About?" "About old times, new opportunities, and the fact that your son's fiancée tried very hard to sabotage several of my projects." Interest sparked. "What kind of sabotage?" "The stupid kind. Gossip. Missed deadlines she blamed on others. But I have documentation, emails, performance reviews. If you are interested..." "I'm interested." "Good. Luigi's. 1 o'clock." He hung up. Marina was watching me from across the table. "That sounded productive," she said. "Garrett's got ammunition. He wants to share?" "Of course he does. You helped him build his career. He hasn't forgotten." I looked at the papers spread across our table. "This is really happening, isn't it?" "You can still stop," Marina said quietly. "We can walk away. Let Oliver and Haley live with the consequences of yesterday and move on with our lives." I thought about Oliver's face when he said I didn't exist anymore. I thought about Haley calling me a jobless old man in front of 100 people. "No," I said. "I don't think I can." Marina nodded. "Then let's do it right." Monday morning I went for a drive. Oliver lived in a modern loft downtown, all glass and steel and expensive minimalism. I knew his routine. Every morning he went running through Riverside Park, a 3-mile loop that started at 6:30. I parked near the trailhead at 6:15 and waited. Oliver appeared right on schedule, wearing running gear that probably cost more than my monthly grocery bill. He didn't see me at first, too focused on his phone and his earbuds. I stepped onto the trail in front of him. He stopped, pulling out his earbuds. What are you doing here? We need to talk. I have nothing to say to you. That's fine. You can listen. Oliver's jaw clenched. Get out of my way. I know about the property deed, the one you forged my signature on. His face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. The warehouse on Industrial Boulevard. You tried to transfer it to your name 6 months ago. Used my signature without permission. That's fraud, Oliver. You can't prove anything. I have the original documents. I have handwriting analysis. I have bank records showing you never made the payments you claimed. I stepped closer. I can prove everything. Oliver's hands clenched into fists. You're bluffing. Try me. For a moment, I thought he might actually swing. His whole body was tense, trembling with rage or fear or both. Then he lunged forward, trying to shove me aside. I'd been expecting it. I sidestepped, catching his momentum and redirecting it. Oliver stumbled, his feet tangling, and went down hard in the mud beside the trail. His phone flew from his hand, landing in a puddle. 2 joggers passed by, slowing to stare. Oliver scrambled to his feet, covered in mud, his face flushed with humiliation. You. Careful, I said quietly. There are witnesses. Oliver grabbed his phone and ran, not continuing his morning jog. Just ran away, back toward the parking lot, leaving muddy footprints on the pristine trail. I walked back to my car, feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Not satisfaction, exactly. More like purpose. Marina called around 9. How'd it go? Oliver knows I know about the deed. How'd he take it? He took a fall in the mud. She laughed. Literally? Yep. Good. I've been making calls, planting seeds. By tonight, half our neighborhood will have heard that Oliver and Haley had some kind of spectacular meltdown at their wedding. You're terrifying. I know. What's next? Lunch with Garrett. I'll call you after. Luigi's was a quiet Italian place in the business district, the kind of restaurant where deals got made over expensive wine and handmade pasta. Garrett was already there when I arrived, sitting in a corner booth. Leonard. He stood to shake my hand. You look good. You're a liar, but thanks. We ordered. Small talk while we waited for food, old memories, shared projects, the early days when we'd both been young and ambitious and stupid enough to think we could build something permanent. Then the food arrived and Garrett's expression got serious. Let's talk about Haley Brooks, he said. Let's. He pulled out a tablet and opened a folder. 3 years she's worked for me. 3 years of problems. She's late at least twice a week. She misses deadlines constantly and blames everyone else. She gossips. She undermines coworkers. She once told a client that another employee was incompetent, trying to make herself look better. Why didn't you fire her before? Couldn't find a clean reason. She was always just barely adequate enough to avoid formal discipline, and she's clever about covering her tracks. Garrett scrolled through documents. But I kept records. Everything. Because I knew eventually I'd need them. Can I see? He handed me the tablet. Emails, performance reviews, incident reports. A pattern of behavior that was unmistakable once you saw it all together. This is damning, I said. It gets better. Or worse, depending on perspective. Garrett opened another file. 2 months ago, someone accessed confidential client information without authorization. Nothing was stolen, but it was a serious security breach. IT traced it to Haley's login. She was spying? We couldn't prove intent. She claimed she clicked the wrong folder, but combined with everything else, Garrett shrugged. The woman is a liability. Why are you telling me this? Because you are planning something. I can see it. And because Haley attached herself to your son trying to climb into money and status she didn't earn. He leaned back. I don't like parasites. And I remember when you and I built something real together. You were always methodical, patient. You'd plan for months before making a move. I'm older now. You're sharper now. Garrett smiled. So tell me, Leonard, what do you need? Copies of everything you just showed me. Done. What else? Information about Oliver. His company, his position, his reputation. Anything vulnerable. Garrett considered. I don't know him personally, but I know people who do. I can make inquiries. Discreetly. Of course. We finished lunch. Garrett sent the files to my encrypted email before we left. I drove home. Marina was in the living room, her laptop open, phone beside her. Productive lunch? She asked. Very. I showed her Garrett's files. She read through them, her expression growing sharper. This is perfect, she said. Haley's pattern is undeniable. And if we combine this with the forged deed, they're trapped. Not quite yet. We need one more piece. Marina looked at me. We need to provoke them, force them to make a mistake. What kind of mistake? The kind where Oliver loses his temper in front of the wrong people, where Haley's true nature shows publicly. Confrontation. Something public enough to be witnessed, but private enough they feel safe being themselves. Exactly. Their loft, I said. Tomorrow evening. I'll show up unannounced. You'll come with me, we'll record everything. Marina smiled. I'll bring my phone. Tuesday evening, we drove to Oliver's loft just after 6. The building was one of those converted warehouse spaces downtown, all exposed brick and floor-to-ceiling windows. Security was minimal, just a call box at the entrance. Marina pressed Oliver's button. Static, then Oliver's voice. Who is it? Your parents, Marina said calmly. We need to talk. A long pause. Then the lock buzzed. We took the elevator to the 4th floor. Oliver opened the door before we could knock. He looked terrible. Unshaven, wearing sweatpants and a wrinkled shirt, eyes red-rimmed. Behind him, the loft was a mess. Clothes on the floor, dishes in the sink, an overturned chair. What do you want? He said. To talk, I said. Can we come in? No. Haley appeared behind him, her hair tangled, makeup smeared. She'd been crying. You have some nerve showing up here. We need to discuss some things, Marina said. The property deed, for one. Oliver's face went rigid. Get out. Not until we talk. I'll call the police. Go ahead, I said. We can explain to them about the forged signature. Haley grabbed Oliver's arm. Don't let them in. They're trying to trap us. Smart woman, Marina said. But we're already inside, metaphorically speaking. I pulled out my phone and showed Oliver the deed document. You signed my name, without permission. That's fraud. I could have you arrested. You can't prove I did it. I have handwriting analysis, bank records, your digital signature on the filing. I can prove everything. Oliver's hands started shaking. What do you want? I want you to understand who you've been dealing with. Haley pushed past Oliver. You think you're so smart. You think you've won. But we know people. We have connections. We'll destroy you. With what? I asked. Your job. Oh, wait. Her face contorted. She grabbed a coffee mug from a nearby table and threw it. I ducked. The mug shattered against the wall behind me. Marina held up her phone. Got that on video. You can't record us without permission, Haley shrieked. Actually, in this state, one-party consent is sufficient. Marina's voice was perfectly calm. And I consent. Oliver lunged forward, trying to grab Marina's phone. I stepped between them, catching his wrist. Don't, I said quietly. Let go of me. He tried to pull away. I applied pressure to his wrist, a technique from old safety training, controlling without injuring. Oliver gasped and dropped to one knee. I said don't. Haley was screaming now, incoherent with rage. She grabbed her own phone and started filming. Assault! This is assault! I released Oliver and stepped back. He scrambled away, cradling his wrist. You saw it, Haley said to her phone. They attacked us. They broke into our home and attacked us. We didn't break in, Marina said. You buzzed us up, and Leonard was defending himself after Oliver tried to grab my phone. Lies! I turned to Oliver. Listen to me very carefully. You forged my signature. You tried to steal my property. Your fiancée has spent years sabotaging her workplace. I have documentation of all of it. You're not the victims here. Get out, Oliver whispered. One more thing, I said. That warehouse you tried to steal, I'm terminating your lease. You have 30 days to vacate. Oliver's face went white. You can't. My whole operation is there. Should have thought of that before committing fraud. Haley lunged at me, hands reaching for my face. Marina caught her wrist smoothly, redirecting her momentum. Haley stumbled and fell against the couch. We're leaving, Marina said, but we'll be back, with lawyers if necessary. We walked to the elevator. Behind us, Haley's screaming echoed through the hallway. Other doors opened, neighbors peering out to see what was happening. Perfect. In the car, Marina played back her video. Clear footage of Oliver trying to grab her phone, me defending her, Haley throwing things and attacking me. This is good, she said. Very good. Phase 1 complete, I said. What's Phase 2? Escalation. That night I went through Garrett's files more carefully. The security breach Haley had committed was worse than he'd initially suggested. She'd accessed client financial information, project timelines, confidential bids. Nothing had been stolen, but the potential for damage was enormous. I drafted an email to Garrett. Can this security breach be reported formally? To compliance authorities? His response came 20 minutes later. Already filed report with state regulators. Investigation opens next week. I showed Marina. That's going to follow her, she said. Any future employer will find it. That's the idea? You're not just getting revenge, you're ending her career. I thought about Haley calling me a jobless old man. Yes, I said. I am. Marina poured herself another cup of tea and sat down across from me. Walk me through what happens next, step by step. The state regulators will investigate Garrett's company. They'll find the security logs, the unauthorized access patterns, Haley's attempts to cover her tracks. It becomes an official record. And that record follows her forever. Exactly. Any background check, any professional licensing application, any security clearance. It'll be there, a permanent mark. What about Oliver's business? The warehouse eviction? I pulled up a spreadsheet on my laptop. His company has 30 days to vacate. But here's the thing. He's using that space for inventory storage, order fulfillment, his entire distribution network. Moving that operation takes months of planning, not 30 days. So he'll default on contracts. Multiple contracts. His clients will sue, his suppliers will cut him off. The whole thing cascades. Marina studied my face. You've thought this through completely. I had 20 years to think about it. I just didn't know I was planning until last week. She reached across the table and took my hand. Are you sleeping? Not much. Eating? When I remember. Leonard, this is consuming you. It has to. If I do this halfway, they'll recover, they'll rebuild, they'll convince themselves they were the victims. I squeezed her hand. I need them to understand completely. No ambiguity, no room for interpretation. You want total victory. I want them to never underestimate anyone again. Wednesday morning brought developments. Marina got a call from her friend Patricia, who lived 2 streets over. The whole neighborhood is talking, Patricia said, loud enough for me to hear, about Oliver and Haley's wedding disaster, about how unstable they seem. Donna said she saw police at their building last night. There weren't any police, Marina said. I know, but rumors grow. People are wondering if Oliver's in some kind of trouble. Financial trouble, legal trouble. You know how these things spread. After Marina hung up, she looked at me. The social destruction is working. Oliver's reputation is crumbling. Good. Patricia mentioned 3 other people who've asked about it. The story's mutating as it spreads. Some people think Oliver hit you at the wedding. Others think Haley was drinking too much and caused a scene. The truth doesn't matter anymore. The damage is done. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Trasker? A professional voice, female. This is Jennifer Lawrence from Whitman & Associates. We represent Haley Brooks. We need to discuss your harassment of our client. Harassment? You've made threatening statements. You've trespassed on her property. You've engaged in physical confrontation. Miss Brooks has documented everything. I have documentation too, I said, of fraud, workplace sabotage, and assault. Should I send it to you or directly to the district attorney? Silence. Mr. Trasker, perhaps we can reach an understanding. Tell your client to stop contacting me. Tell her to stay away from my property. And tell her the state regulators will be very interested in her security breach at her former employer. I hung up. Marina was smiling. They're scared. They should be. That lawyer was fishing, trying to see if you'd back down, offer a settlement, anything to make this go away quietly. I'm not interested in quiet. I noticed. I spent the rest of Wednesday organizing files. Every document had to be perfect. Every timeline had to be airtight. Any weakness, any gap, any contradiction could become ammunition for Oliver and Haley's defense. Around 3 in the afternoon, I got another call, this time from the warehouse property manager, a nervous man named Dale Peterson. Mr. Trasker, I'm getting calls from Oliver's company. They're asking for an extension on the eviction notice. They say they need more time to relocate. What did you tell them? That I'd ask you. You're the owner. Tell them no, 30 days, not 31. They're saying it's impossible, that they'll lose everything. Then they should have thought about that before committing fraud. Dale was quiet for a moment. Mr. Trasker, I've been managing properties for 15 years. I've seen a lot of evictions, but I've never seen one this calculated. Your point? No point. Just an observation. I'll inform them of your decision. He hung up. Marina had been listening from the doorway. You're not giving them any room at all, she said. No. What if Oliver comes to you, apologizes, begs? Then I'll remember him shoving me at the wedding and say no. You've become hard. I've become honest. I was always this person. I just hid it under politeness and accommodation. That afternoon, Garrett called again. Your son's company just received an interesting inquiry. Someone asking about Oliver's judgment, his stability, whether he's reliable. Someone? Me, through intermediaries, thought you'd want to know. What did they say? They're concerned. Apparently Oliver's been erratic lately. Missing meetings, emotional. His supervisor is paying attention now. Perfect. Leonard, there's something else. One of my contacts at the bank mentioned Oliver tried to get an emergency loan yesterday to cover the warehouse relocation costs. Did he get it? Denied. His credit's already flagged because of the lease default. No bank will touch him now. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Not satisfaction. Something harder. So he has no options. None that I can see. The warehouse eviction triggers a cascade. Lost contracts, supplier defaults, employee layoffs. His company will be gone in 60 days. And Haley? The state investigation started this morning. Formal interviews with everyone at my company who worked with her. The documentation is overwhelming. She'll never work in this industry again. After Garrett hung up, I sat at the kitchen table for a long time. Marina made dinner, but I barely tasted it. My mind was running calculations, tracking consequences, mapping the future I'd created. You're second-guessing yourself, Marina said. No, just acknowledging what I've done. Which is? Destroyed 2 lives completely, systematically, without mercy. They tried to destroy yours first. I know. But they failed. I succeeded. That's the difference. Marina cleared the plates. Do you want to stop? We can still pull back, drop the criminal complaint, give Oliver an extension on the warehouse, and let Haley negotiate with the regulators. I thought about it. Really thought about giving them a way out, a chance to rebuild, some kind of mercy. Then I remembered Haley's voice. He's just a jobless old man. You can ignore him. No, I said. We finish this. Friday arrived. I spent the morning organizing files, building the comprehensive case. Marina handled her network, spreading carefully crafted truths through our community. By evening, we had everything ready. The corporate hearing, I said. That's the endgame. You can trigger it? I own controlling interest in the parent company of Oliver's landlord. I can call an emergency review of the lease violation. Summon Oliver to explain the forged deed. Make it official, formal, witnessed. When? Monday. I'll arrange it through Garrett. He can make sure Haley's former company sends representatives too to discuss her security breach. You're putting them both on trial. Essentially, a corporate compliance hearing has the weight of legal proceedings without the protections of an actual courtroom. Everything said becomes part of the official record. Everything documented can be used in future litigation. Marina touched my hand. Are you sure? Once you do this, there's no going back. Oliver will know everything about your ownership, your power, everything you've kept hidden. I thought about my son shoving me at his wedding, about 20 years of quiet humiliation, about being dismissed and patronized and treated like a burden by my own child. I'm sure, I said. Marina nodded. Then let's finish it. Saturday morning, I contacted the corporate compliance office through channels I hadn't used in years. The administrator, a sharp woman named Dr. Helena Voss, remembered me. Leonard Trasker, she said. I wondered if you'd ever activate your oversight rights. I'm activating them now. I need an emergency lease violation hearing. Monday, if possible. What's the violation? Fraudulent deed transfer, forged signature. The leaseholder attempted to claim ownership of property he doesn't own. Do you have documentation? Complete documentation. And I'm the property owner he tried to steal from. Lena's voice got sharper. Send me everything. If this is legitimate, we can have a hearing by Monday afternoon. I sent the files. An hour later, Helena called back. This is serious, she said. Multiple felonies, if provable. I'm scheduling the hearing for Monday, 2 p.m., Conference Room B at the Whitmore Building. I'll summon the leaseholder. Oliver Trasker, my son. A pause. Your son tried to steal from you? Yes. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just make sure the hearing is thorough. Count on it. I called Garrett next. Can you arrange for Haley's former company to send representatives to a hearing Monday regarding her security breach? What kind of hearing? Corporate compliance. I'm bringing Oliver in for the deed fraud. I want Haley there too, facing questions about her behavior. Garrett was quiet a moment. You're orchestrating a public reckoning. Yes. I can make it happen. The company's legal team will jump at the chance to formally document Haley's violations. It protects them from liability. Perfect. Leonard, you understand what this will do to them. This isn't just revenge. You're destroying their futures, not damaging them. Destroying them. They'll carry these records forever. They tried to destroy mine first. They just underestimated who I am. Fair enough. I'll make the calls. Saturday afternoon, I received an email from Oliver. The subject line was, "Please read this." I almost deleted it. Instead, I opened it. "Dad, I know you're angry. I know I messed up. But please, can we talk? I don't understand what's happening. My company is collapsing. Haley's being investigated. Everyone's turning against us. And I keep hearing your name in connection with all of it. Did I really hurt you that badly at the wedding? Was it that unforgivable? I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry for everything. Please call me. Please." Oliver, I showed Marina. "He still doesn't get it," she said. "No. He thinks this is about hurt feelings. He doesn't understand it's about consequences." "Are you going to respond?" I thought about it. Then I typed a single sentence. "You forged my signature to steal my property. Everything that's happening now is because of that choice." I hit send. Oliver's response came 5 minutes later. "I didn't think you'd actually care about one warehouse. You never seemed to care about anything." I read it twice. Then I closed my laptop. "That's the problem," I said to Marina. He never looked close enough to see who I actually was. And now it's too late. Sunday was quiet. Marina and I reviewed everything one final time. Documents organized, evidence indexed, timeline clear. We didn't talk much. The weight of what we were about to do hung between us like storm clouds. "You can still stop," Marina said that evening. "I know, but you won't." "No." She kissed my forehead. "Then I'm with you, all the way." Monday morning arrived bright and cold. I dressed carefully. Not a rental suit this time. My best clothes, professional and sharp. Marina wore a gray dress that made her look like she belonged in a courtroom. "Ready?" she asked. "Ready." The Whitmore building was downtown, all glass and steel and corporate power. We arrived at 1:30. The conference room was on the 8th floor, large and sterile with a table that could seat 20. Dr. Voss was already there, along with 2 other compliance officers. Garrett arrived with 3 people from his company's legal team. Everyone had folders, laptops, the tools of institutional judgment. Oliver and Haley were summoned at 1:50. They arrived together, both looking confused and angry. Oliver wore a suit, but he'd missed a button. Haley's makeup was too heavy, trying to hide exhaustion. "What is this?" Oliver demanded. "Sit down," Dr. Voss said. "Both of you." They sat. Oliver's eyes found mine across the table. Understanding dawned slowly, then horror. "You," he whispered. "You set this up." "I'm here in my capacity as property owner," I said calmly, "and as the victim of attempted fraud." Dr. Voss opened her folder. "This hearing concerns allegations of lease violations, fraud, and corporate misconduct. Mr. Oliver Trasker, you're here regarding the warehouse property at 847 Industrial Boulevard. Miss Haley Brooks, you're here regarding security violations during your employment at Garrett Miles Construction." Haley's face went pale. "I don't work there anymore." "Which makes this simpler," Garrett said. "We're not pursuing criminal charges. We're documenting your behavior for regulatory purposes." "You can't do this," Oliver said. "This is entrapment." "This is due process," Dr. Voss said. "Now let's begin with the deed transfer." She projected the forged document on the screen. Oliver's signature, clear and obvious. My signature, equally clear but wrong in subtle ways that handwriting analysis revealed. "Mr. Trasker, did you sign this document?" Dr. Voss asked me. "I did not." "Mr. Oliver Trasker, did you forge your father's signature?" Oliver's hands clenched. This is a misunderstanding. Answer the question." "My father promised me that property. He said I could have it." "Did he sign this document?" Dr. Voss pressed. Silence. "Mr. Trasker, answer the question or we'll assume guilt and proceed accordingly." I thought he wouldn't mind." "So you forged his signature without permission?" Oliver looked at Haley. She was staring at the table, saying nothing. "Yes," Oliver finally whispered. Dr. Voss made notes. "That's admission of fraud. Now let's discuss the property itself. Mr. Leonard Trasker, can you establish ownership?" I slid the deed across the table. Original, notarized, dated 15 years back. "I purchased this property in 2010. I've paid taxes on it continuously. I own it outright." "And the lease agreement?" Oliver's company signed a 5-year lease with option to purchase. The purchase option required full payment by December 2024. No payment was made. The option expired. Oliver's face went white. "You never told me that." "I sent 3 certified letters. You signed for all of them." I didn't read them." "That's not my problem. Dr. Voss turned to Oliver. So you forged a deed to steal property you were leasing after failing to exercise your legitimate purchase option? Oliver said nothing. This hearing will recommend criminal investigation, Dr. Voss said. Now, Miss Brooks, let's discuss your employment history. One of Garrett's lawyers, a woman named Patricia Reynolds, opened a laptop. Miss Brooks, during your employment at Garrett Miles Construction, how many times were you formally counseled for lateness? Haley's hands trembled. I don't know. 17 times. How many deadlines did you miss? Things happen. 23 documented instances. How many times did you access confidential client information without authorization? That was an accident. IT logs show you accessed restricted folders 47 times over 6 months. Each access required you to bypass security warnings. That's not an accident, Miss Brooks. That's systematic. Haley looked at Oliver. Say something. Oliver was staring at his hands. Furthermore, Patricia continued, we have emails where you discuss sabotaging coworkers, spreading false rumors, deliberately withholding information to make others look incompetent. Those emails are private. They were sent from a company account. Nothing is private, and they demonstrate a pattern of malicious behavior. Garrett leaned forward. Haley, I gave you chances. Multiple chances. You were toxic to every team you joined. The only reason I didn't fire you earlier was lack of a clean opportunity. Thank you for providing one. Haley's face crumpled. This isn't fair. Fair? I said quietly. Everyone turned to look at me. You called me a jobless old man in front of 100 people. You humiliated me at your wedding. You helped my son try to steal my property. And now you want to talk about fair. You ruined my wedding. You ruined your own wedding. All I did was exist. Dr. Voss cleared her throat. This hearing is concluded. Our findings will be submitted to relevant authorities within 48 hours. Mr. Oliver Trasker, expect contact from law enforcement regarding the forged deed. Miss Brooks, the State Labor Board will receive our documentation of your employment violations. Wait, Oliver said. Wait, please, I'll fix this. I'll pay for the property. I'll make it right. With what money? I asked. Your company's about to lose its primary warehouse. Your reputation is ruined, and you're facing criminal charges. Dad, please. Don't call me that. You said I didn't exist, remember? Oliver stood up, knocking his chair back. You can't do this. You're my father. I was your father. Now I'm just the man you tried to rob. Haley stood too, grabbing Oliver's arm. We need to leave. Now. They walked toward the door. Oliver paused at the threshold, looking back at me. I'll never forgive you for this, he said. I'm counting on it, I replied. They left. The door closed with a soft click. Dr. Voss looked at me. That was brutal. It needed to be. Garrett stood, offering his hand. Leonard, if you ever need anything, I know where to find you. Marina and I left the building. Outside, the afternoon sun was bright and cold. We walked to the parking lot in silence. How do you feel? Marina asked. I don't know yet. Regret? I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said finally. They made their choices. They pushed until something broke. This is just consequences. They'll be destroyed by this. They destroyed themselves. I just documented it. We drove home. The house felt different somehow. Lighter, like something heavy had been removed from the air. That evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Leonard Trasker? A man's voice. Official. Speaking. This is Detective William Hayes with the County Fraud Division. We received some interesting documents from a corporate compliance hearing today. I'd like to ask you some questions about a forged property deed. Of course. When? How about tomorrow morning? 10 a.m. at the station? I'll be there. Marina was watching me. The police? They want to talk about Oliver's fraud. This is really happening. Yes, it is. Tuesday morning, I went to the police station alone. Marina offered to come, but this felt like something I needed to do myself. Detective Hayes was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with sharp eyes and the careful demeanor of someone who'd seen too many families implode. Mr. Trasker, thank you for coming. Let's talk about your son. Former son? I said. Hayes raised an eyebrow. Former? He disowned me before I disowned him. Details matter. Fair enough. Walk me through the property situation. I explained everything. The original purchase, the lease agreement, the warnings I'd sent, Oliver's failure to exercise his option. Then the forged deed, the attempted transfer, the discovery. Hayes took notes. Why didn't you report this immediately? I wanted to understand the full scope, see if it was an isolated incident or part of a pattern. And? Pattern. His fiancée has her own history of fraud and sabotage. They were working together. Can you prove that? I pulled out my tablet and showed him everything. Emails between Oliver and Haley discussing the property. Text messages about forging signatures. Bank records showing Haley researched document fraud online. Hayes leaned back. This is comprehensive. I'm thorough. You're a victim here, Mr. Tresker. But you're also methodical in a way that makes me think you've done this before. I ran a major logistics network for 20 years. Documentation was survival. And your son didn't know about your background? He thought I was unemployed. He never asked for details. Hayes was quiet for a moment. I have to ask, is this revenge or justice? Can't it be both? Legally, sure. Morally, that's above my pay grade. Hayes closed his folder. We'll investigate. If everything you've shown me checks out, and I suspect it will, we'll file charges. Your son is looking at fraud, forgery, possibly conspiracy, 3 to 5 years if convicted. I understand. Do you want that? Prison for your son? I thought about Oliver shoving me at the wedding, about Haley's sneer, about 20 years of quiet contempt. I want consequences, I said. What form those take is up to the legal system. Hayes nodded. Fair enough. We'll be in touch. I left the station and drove to a coffee shop downtown, sat in a corner booth with a newspaper and terrible coffee, and waited. My phone rang at 11:30. Garrett. Leonard, you need to see this. See what? Oliver's company just filed for emergency bankruptcy protection. The warehouse eviction triggered a cascade. He's done. Already? He was over-leveraged, living beyond his means. The warehouse was collateral for multiple loans. Without it, Garrett paused. He's completely ruined. What about Haley? State Labor Board opened a formal investigation this morning. She's unhireable in this industry, possibly any industry. I should have felt satisfaction, victory, something. Instead, I just felt tired. Thank you for letting me know, I said. Leonard, are you okay? I will be. I hung up and stared at my coffee. Marina texted, Come home, please. I drove back. Marina was in the kitchen, making something that smelled like chicken soup. Detective Hayes called me, she said. Wanted to verify some details. And? I told him everything. Confirmed your timeline. He said the investigation is moving forward. Oliver's company filed for bankruptcy. Marina set down her spoon. That was fast. He built his entire operation on property he didn't own. Now it's all collapsing. Do you regret this? I thought about it. Really thought. I regret that it was necessary. I don't regret doing it. That's different. Yeah. Marina came around the counter and hugged me, just held me there in the kitchen while soup simmered on the stove and afternoon light slanted through the windows. They'll hate you forever, she said quietly. I know. And you're okay with that? I'm okay with being underestimated one last time. After this, nobody will make that mistake again. Wednesday afternoon brought the final piece. I was in the garage, organizing old equipment, when my phone rang. Dr. Voss. Mr. Trasker, I thought you should know. The state attorney's office reviewed our findings. They're filing formal charges against both Oliver and Haley. Fraud, conspiracy, theft by deception. When? Warrants will be issued tomorrow morning. They'll both be arrested. I sat down on an old workbench. Arrested? Yes. Given the evidence, bail will be high. Neither of them has the resources for it anymore. How long will they be held? Depends on their lawyer. Could be days, could be weeks. Thank you for letting me know. I hung up. Marina appeared in the garage doorway. I heard, she said. Are you ready for this? I don't think anyone's ever ready to have their child arrested. He's not a child anymore. He's a criminal. I know, doesn't make it easier. That night, I barely slept. Kept seeing Oliver as a kid, learning to ride a bike, laughing at stupid jokes, believing his father could fix anything. When had that changed? When had admiration turned to contempt? Probably around the time I stopped correcting his assumptions about my life. Let him think I was unemployed. Let him believe I was weak. Why had I done that? Pride? Some perverse test to see if he'd love me without status? Didn't matter now. Thursday morning arrived gray and cold. I was drinking coffee when Marina's phone buzzed. She read the message and looked at me. Patricia just texted. Oliver and Haley were arrested an hour ago. Both are at county lockup. Bail? $50,000 each. Neither can pay it. So they'll stay there. unless someone bails them out. We looked at each other. No, I said. I wasn't suggesting it. You were thinking it. Maybe for a second, but no, they made their choices. My phone rang, unknown number again. Against my better judgment, I answered. Dad? Oliver's voice, small and scared. Dad, please, I need help. How did you get a phone? They give you one call. I'm using it. Dad, please. They're saying 3 to 5 years. I can't go to prison. You should have thought about that before forging my signature. I made a mistake. One mistake. You're going to destroy my life over one mistake? It wasn't one mistake, Oliver. It was a pattern. Years of contempt, disrespect, then actual crime. Please, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll do anything. Goodbye, Oliver. Dad. I hung up. My hands were shaking. Marina touched my shoulder. You okay? No, but I will be. Friday brought news. Oliver and Haley's lawyer, overwhelmed and underpaid, filed motions for reduced bail. Denied. Filed for early arraignment. Denied. The system was processing them exactly like any other criminals. Because that's what they were. Garrett called Friday evening. Leonard, I need to tell you something. What? Oliver tried to contact me. From jail, asking if I'd testify that Haley manipulated him, that he was innocent. What did you say? I said no, because it's not true. He knew exactly what he was doing. Thank you. Don't thank me, I'm just being honest. Garrett paused. How are you holding up? I'm not sure yet. This is almost over. The arraignment is Monday. After that, it's out of your hands. Good. Monday morning. Marina and I went to the courthouse. Not to testify, that would come later, at trial. Just to watch. Oliver and Haley were led in wearing orange jumpsuits. Oliver had lost weight. Haley's hair was tangled, her face pale. They both looked broken. The judge read the charges. Fraud, conspiracy, forgery, theft by deception. Oliver's lawyer made weak arguments about first-time offenders, family circumstances, potential for rehabilitation. The prosecutor presented our evidence, documents, videos, testimony from Garrett. The pattern was undeniable. Bail remains at $50,000 each, the judge said. Trial date set for March 15th. Defendants remain in custody. Oliver's eyes found mine across the courtroom. He mouthed something. Maybe why, or maybe please. I couldn't tell. I looked away. Outside, Marina and I stood on the courthouse steps. Downtown traffic hummed past. People hurried by with coffee and briefcases, living normal lives, unaware that mine had just irreversibly changed. It's done, Marina said. Not quite. Trial's still coming. But the outcome's certain. You know that. I did know that. The evidence was overwhelming. Oliver and Haley would be convicted. They'd serve time. Their lives would never recover. And I'd made that happen. No regrets? Marina asked. Ask me in a year. I'm asking now. I thought about Oliver calling me a jobless old man, about being shoved against a wall at my own son's wedding, about 20 years of quiet contempt. No regrets, I said. We walked to the car. Behind us, the courthouse stood against gray sky, monument to justice or revenge, depending on your perspective. I'd chosen my perspective, and I'd won. 2 weeks later, Marina and I were having dinner when my phone buzzed. Email from Dr. Voss with a single attachment. Final compliance report. Trasker case. I opened it. 14 pages documenting everything. Oliver's fraud, Haley's sabotage, the systematic pattern of deception and theft, recommendations for prosecution, supporting evidence annexed. It was comprehensive, damning, perfect. They're finished, I said, showing Marina. She read through it quickly. This will follow them forever. That's the idea. My phone rang. Garrett. Leonard, I'm at the county courthouse. You need to get down here. Why? Oliver's trying to make a deal. He's claiming you coerced him, that you manipulated everything. His lawyer is pushing a narrative about a harsh father who engineered his own son's collapse. My jaw clenched. I'm on my way. Marina and I drove to the courthouse in silence. The hearing room was small, windowless, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. Oliver sat at a table with his lawyer, a desperate-looking public defender named Thompson. Haley sat separately with her own counsel. The prosecutor, a sharp woman named Ellen Reeves, stood when I entered. Mr. Trasker, thank you for coming on short notice. What's going on? Mr. Oliver Trasker is attempting to negotiate a plea deal by claiming you orchestrated this entire situation. That you deliberately trapped him? I looked at Oliver. He wouldn't meet my eyes. That's a lie, I said. We know, Reeves said, but we need to address it formally. His lawyer has requested a settlement conference. The judge wants all parties present. Judge Morrison entered. Everyone stood. She was older, gray-haired, with the expression of someone who'd heard every excuse imaginable. Let's make this quick, she said. Mr. Thompson, your client wants to claim what, exactly? Thompson stood. Your Honor, Oliver Trasker was manipulated by his father. Leonard Trasker deliberately concealed his wealth and property ownership, waited for his son to make a mistake, then used it to destroy him. This wasn't justice. It was entrapment. Entrapment requires law enforcement involvement, Judge Morrison said dryly. Try again. Then prosecutorial misconduct, abuse of process, something. Based on what evidence? Thompson fumbled with papers. The timing. Leonard Trasker waited months after discovering the forged deed. He could have reported it immediately, but chose to gather more evidence, to build a case specifically designed to maximize damage. That's called being thorough, the judge said, not misconduct. He orchestrated a public humiliation at the wedding. He attended his son's wedding, Reeves cut in. The humiliation was caused by Miss Brooks insulting him, then being fired by her employer for legitimate cause. Mr. Trasker didn't cause that. I raised my hand. May I speak? Judge Morrison nodded. Go ahead. I looked at Oliver. Really looked at him. You forged my signature. You tried to steal property worth $400,000. Your fiancée called me a jobless old man in front of strangers, trying to humiliate me. Then you pushed me, assaulted me, disowned me. All I did was document your crimes and report them. That's not manipulation. That's consequence. You set me up, Oliver shouted. I gave you opportunities to stop. 3 certified letters about the lease. Multiple chances to come clean. You chose crime instead. Oliver stood, his chair scraping back. You wanted this. You wanted me to fail. I wanted you to be honest. You chose otherwise. You're a vindictive old man. And you're a thief. Judge Morrison slapped her desk. Enough. Mr. Thompson, your client has no case. The evidence against him is overwhelming. Fraud, forgery, conspiracy, all documented with video, emails, and physical evidence. There is no entrapment. There is no misconduct. There's just a young man who committed crimes and got caught. Your Honor, I'm not finished. The plea offer is 5 years, suspended to 3 with good behavior. Take it or go to trial and risk the full 7. Those are your options. Oliver's face crumpled. Please, I can't do 3 years. You should have considered that before committing felonies. Judge Morrison turned to Haley's lawyer. And you? Any similar arguments? Haley's lawyer, a woman named Stevens, shook her head. No, Your Honor. Miss Brooks accepts responsibility and wishes to negotiate separately. Smart. Everyone out, except Mr. Leonard Trasker. I want a word. The room cleared. I stayed in my seat. Judge Morrison studied me for a long moment. Mr. Trasker, off the record. This was personal for you. Yes? Revenge? Justice with a personal investment. She almost smiled. You're honest. I appreciate that. Your son is going to prison. His life is effectively over. His career, his reputation, his future, all gone. How does that make you feel? I thought about Oliver as a child. Then I thought about him shoving me at the wedding. Like I did what was necessary, I said. No satisfaction? Maybe later. Right now I'm just tired. Judge Morrison nodded. That's the most honest answer anyone's given me in a decade. You're free to go. I walked out. Marina was waiting in the hallway with Garrett. Well, she asked. Oliver's taking the plea, 3 years. And Haley? Negotiating separately. Garrett gripped my shoulder. You won. Yeah. You don't sound happy about it. I'm not unhappy. I'm just done. We walked to the parking lot. The afternoon sun was bright, almost painfully so. Marina took my hand. What now? She asked. Now we go home. Live our lives. Let them live theirs. What's left of them. Do you think Oliver will ever forgive you? No, but I don't need him to. We drove home in comfortable silence. The house was exactly as we'd left it. Quiet, peaceful, ours. I made coffee. Marina turned on music. We sat in the living room and didn't talk about Oliver or Haley or courtrooms or revenge. We just existed, together. Finally free of the weight I'd carried for 20 years. 3 weeks later, the formal sentencing arrived. Oliver got 3 years, Haley got 18 months. Both would serve their time in state facilities. their futures permanently marked by felony convictions. I didn't attend the sentencing, didn't need to, it was over. 1 year later, I was working in the garage when a letter arrived. Prison envelope, Oliver's handwriting. I almost threw it away unopened. Instead, I opened it. 2 pages of scrawled apology, excuses, pleas for understanding. He'd had time to think. He understood now what he'd done. He was sorry. Could I ever forgive him? I read it twice. Then I put it through the shredder. Marina found me there, watching paper strips fall into the bin. From Oliver? She asked. Yeah. What did it say? That he's sorry, that he understands now, that he wants forgiveness. Are you going to respond? I thought about the wedding, the humiliation, the forged deed, the assault, the lies. No, I said. I'm not. Because you can't forgive him? Because I don't need to. He made his choices. He's living with them. That's enough. Marina kissed my cheek. You're at peace with this? Yeah, I think I am. That evening, Garrett called with news. The warehouse property you evicted Oliver from? I have a client interested in leasing it. Triple what Oliver was paying. Send me the details. Leonard, you could sell that property now for twice what you paid. You're sitting on a gold mine. I know. But you won't sell. Not yet. Maybe not ever. It's mine. That's enough. Garrett laughed. You know what I realized. You didn't destroy Oliver's life for revenge. You destroyed it to prove a point. What point? That you were never the weak old man they thought you were. You were always the one with power. They just never looked close enough to see it. Maybe. Definitely, and now everyone knows, including Oliver sitting in his cell, probably thinking about it every single day. We hung up. I sat on the back porch, watching the sunset paint the sky orange and purple. Marina joined me with 2 glasses of wine. To victory? She said. To consequences, I replied. We drank. The wine was good, the evening was peaceful, and somewhere across the city, in a concrete cell with bars and fluorescent lights, Oliver was learning what it meant to underestimate Leonard Trasker.